Welcome to this week's Leg It Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neal.
And again, as always, we're sponsored by the Social Scousers, so give them a shout for any of your social media needs. Now, you might be looking at me thinking, what the fuck is Andy doing? Well, as you know, we run a little tipping competition. The last 4 weeks, we've been throwing up tips. I have landed 0 out of 4. Jordan has landed 3 out of 4, which means there was a forfeit. Your fantastic brother, Jamie, came up with a forfeit of me wearing a Everton top.
Looks all right.
Yeah, cheers.
No, you haven't been best pleased putting it on, but...
You know what, I wore one when I was a kid, I think, playing five-a-side when I was about 9. And it was like Reds against Blue or something, and I ended up wearing one. And that was the last time. And
Still haven't lived that down.
I'm just petrified now. There's going to be a picture now on the internet of me in this.
It's one of them in here where it comes back to haunt you.
Yeah.
But
it's a fucking shit kit as well.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Kazoo.
Do you know, that's a...
And Angry Birds, isn't it? They still on it.
No, I think they got binned off. But it's like, that's a big fit, and it's still like, it's just normal. But imagine you've got your right size. Skin tight.
So anyway, nice one, Jay. Mate, yeah, my tips have been horrendous, to be fair. Well, they've been unlucky, but you've nailed it, mate.
Yeah, I think, it goes like that, doesn't it, really? When you put your selections out there, it's easy to be an after-timer and be like, here, I backed that.
Yeah.
But when you put your tips out, or your picks out there, or your predictions, it sort of comes with the territory that, you're going to go on losing runs from time to time. I mean, I was saying to you before we started recording, like, I'm under no illusions that, I've done 3 or 4, but next month I could go for 0 for 4 again, and it just comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Well, on that note, before we look over some of your picks, so if anyone's got a forfeit for next month, drop me a message, because...
Yeah, because I'm not wearing that.
Oh, I'm up in my game, right? Mate, so you had, at the weekend, you had Eubank to win on points.
Yeah, I think we nailed it, really, in terms of the little clip he put out, in terms of he was going to try and box, going to try and impress Roy Jones, which he did. He didn't impress everyone who was watching, but, I know Roy Jones was very happy with him.
What I thought was brilliant on your behalf is I looked at the Sky Sports app, and it literally said word for word in summary basically what you said. Eubank's come out with a new plan, he's got a new trainer, he's going to try and box him, didn't kind of go for the knockout, he wanted to prove his new boxing acumen. That's literally what you said.
I think once you do your homework, you realise that was the way it's going to go, because we know he can fight. Anyone we spoke last week about it, everyone knows he can fight, he can throw power punches, but once you get to a certain level, it's not enough. And he's realised that, and then obviously Roy Jones has given him strict orders to show that he's learned over the last 18 months that when he needs to box, he can. Marcus Morrison's not a world champion, probably never going to be, but you got to start somewhere. And as I say, people weren't impressed really by him, but I was.
Be interesting, like you said again last week, to see if he continues that.
It is, because it's when you're like in the heat of the moment, isn't it? Do you revert to type and do you just start swinging again, or do you stick to what you're learning? But I mean, as I say, I've never been on the Eubank Junior bandwagon really, but I'm really interested now to see. He's 31, to see this sort of next period of his career now, see if he can. What
is the prime for a boxer?
I think it's weight dependent. I mean, if you spent your younger years killing yourself at the weight, but when you get to 28, 29, you might be shop worn. But I think around 29 to 32, 33, you're coming into... I think you hear boxers talk about it a lot of time, like man strength.
Yeah.
Callum Smith said it loads. Like, he's a big lad, but he didn't feel like he had his man strength. And I think that once they get that, you're a different proposition. But obviously heavyweights, they peak a little bit later. Yeah. So you see heavyweight champions, 36, 37. Klitschko went till he was like 42, I think. Yeah. Just because they're big men. They just mature, obviously, a little later.
Do you find that just in life, the man strength thing? I remember,
yeah, 100%.
Like, even when I was like 21, 22 in the Marines, and
never beat your dad.
My dad was always strong.
I know. It is true, and it's something that people probably overlook, because you see, you have your anomalies like Mike Tyson's and stuff like that, who just, freaks of nature. But yeah, I think you've got to get to a certain point of maturity, haven't you, before you're at your athletic. Probably goes for everything, even running, anything. You've got to be at your peak maturity to probably get your athletic performance right up.
Yeah, so you nailed it, mate. Before that, you had Nye Bevan.
Yeah.
You've had alcohol free. What was the other one you had? Another boxing one, wasn't it?
Was it? Don't know, I forgot.
Oh no, you had Rose, didn't you, in the UFC?
Oh, Rose Namajunas. How did I forget that? That's the best one. But yeah, so Nye Bevan, Rose Namajunas, and alcohol free. Yeah, so going across 2 sports.
Smashed it, mate. And last weekend, so yeah, boxing which you had in, we also had the Eubank, which we said, Parker and Chisora. One of the lads, shout out to John Ashton, he had, I think it was a fiver on Parker to get knocked down in the first round and to win the fight.
50-1 or something?
66.
Jeez.
What a mad bet to get in.
They're the ones that you hit every couple of years.
Mad. But I seen Chisora seemed quite unhappy after the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably unlucky, obviously, with the knockdown. He probably won the first half of the fight, lost the second half. But if you got the knockdown, you obviously got the 10-8 round. But yeah, it was a weird fight, to be honest. Joseph Parker's obviously gone to Andy Lee now, new trainer.
Yeah.
He's been with Kevin Barry in Vegas for his whole career. And he just looked like a fighter that was stuck in between two styles, really. Like, sort of, you could see he was trying to do the stuff Andy Lee was working with him, but as we just touched on before, once it got hot in the kitchen, for want of a better phrase, he went back to doing what he does. And yeah, he was just sort of caught between two styles, but come through, I think they'll do a rematch probably.
I was going to say that's the first thing that got mentioned after it, wasn't it?
I think because obviously we're going to get AJ Fiore very soon, probably announced this week or in the next couple of days. So everyone else, you've sort of got to find a dance partner to get paid with, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously Dillian White probably maybe get matched up with Wilder or Andy Ruiz. And then Parker Chisora both just see there, us again on pay-per-view, get a good payday.
Yeah, why not?
Doesn't really do anything for either of them, but keeps them active. And if you can't win the belt, you need to be in exciting fights that people care about.
Yeah, it's a fair point, yeah. Yeah, there was that, and then there was Conlon, you tipped up.
Yeah.
Won.
Conlon, yeah, I wanted him to get a stoppage, to be honest, because as I said, he's on that precipice now of like going for the world titles and becoming this standout Irish star. But to be honest, he fought a tough fella, very tough, Romanian, I think he was, Baluta. And he was just...
He was the Irish Slayer, we said last week.
Yeah, he's just knocking Irish people off for fun. But yeah, Conlon, did what he had to do and come through. But yeah, he's in a very important part of his career now. Because, as we get the fans back, Belfast will be dying for a big night.
Yeah, on that tournament, getting the fans back. I've seen Jazz's fight this weekend has been postponed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've seen...
Visa
he was meant to be visa issues over on the Canelo Saunders card, which would have been, unbelievable for them. I know there's a Manchester card next week, May 15th. So I don't know if they might squeeze on there, but...
I think he said July.
Did he, yeah?
Yeah,
completely
I think just to get fans back in the UK.
To be honest, that's a rematch, isn't it, with Kid Galahad? They fought years ago. Kid Galahad won, but then he got popped for drugs, I think. So there's a bit of bad blood there. But yeah, it's just one of them, unfortunate, because you'll see it this weekend with Canelo Saunders. It's 70,000 or something. Yeah,
they're trying to break the record, aren't they? Ali Spinks in 78, I think, was the highest.
Yeah, but this AT&T Stadium, Dallas, just going to be absolutely rocking, and the thing
full of Mexicans as well.
But Canelo has like the mariachi band, and like it's like a festival, you know what I mean? So it's going to be
it's always around
Cinco de Mayo,
yeah, May 5th.
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's going to be heightened now because of the COVID era, the fact that we're all dying for something. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be the big sporting event that brings everyone back.
I can't wait for it this weekend. Cannot wait. The other boxing mate last week that didn't go our way as Scousers was Tasha Jonas.
Yeah, very unlucky, mate. I mean, I had it all square after 8 rounds, and then Katie Taylor just sort of brought a bit of championship experience. You know what I mean? Nicked the last 2 rounds, won the fight. But Tasha again proved that she's top of the tree. She's right there. That's her performance now with super featherweight with Terry Harper, which she won, and then at lightweight with Katie Taylor, and both times she's proved she belongs there. I just hope to get her a bit of a, get her a world title, fight one of the other champions, you know what I mean? Get her a belt and then let her take a belt into a fight. Yeah. It feels like she's in the away corner all the time.
All the time, do you know? Yeah.
And she's like, what more can she do? Do you know what I mean? People have gone in and laid down in front of Katie Taylor before, and she put it on her toes.
Yeah. She's so well liked as well, isn't she?
Mate. But I think I've seen some people saying this week she's brilliant off camera. She's always getting called in by Sky for the punditry.
Yeah.
She's brilliant value in the ring. She's the complete package, and all she needs is a world title now to... But it's just one of them.
She's good, Katie Taylor, isn't she? Can't take nothing away from her.
Yeah, for me, she's the best female boxer on the planet. But the fact that, Tasha is sort of... I think she revels in being written off a little bit, do you know what I mean? And fighting that way. And I think Katie Taylor's probably the same. You see the best of her when people think she might lose. There's a few people picking Tasha Jonas. I know in the bubble where they were, a few people saying, this upset can happen, but... I think we've seen the best of Katie because of that. She's just so well rounded.
Where will Katie Taylor go from here?
She's done everything, but she just needs big defining nights now. I think her biggest ambition is to headline a card, like a pay-per-view card. And then obviously just find takers in, maybe that's different weight divisions, or she unifies lower down, or, just looks for anything really that's big.
Yeah.
But I know, like, people saying, like, Clarissa Shields, who's like middleweight, trying to get up to there to fight her, but then it becomes like the freak show again.
Yeah, just trying to mix
just
match.
Anything, you know what I mean? But I think if Tasha can get a belt, obviously at super featherweight, and then come in as a world champion, and then they can do a rematch, because to be honest, a rematch probably sells.
Yeah. And with like we said last time, the crowd would be unbelievable for that fight, wouldn't it?
Well, I said last week about them breaking that record. I sent you the video of the Olympics. It was the indoor record at the Olympics that they broke, and the atmosphere is just insane. But if they did that in Ireland, or in Liverpool, or if it was bigger and it needed to go to Manchester, it would take the roof off. 100%. Especially on the back of that fight.
100%. Yeah, hopefully something else happens with that. So yeah, you got your bet in, mate. My bet was Celtic to beat Rangers. Celtic got beat 3-1. There was sending off in the game, and my little prediction of Rangers taking the foot off the pedal just didn't quite materialise.
I think the red card killed it, didn't it?
Yeah.
And just one of them, and then they just sort of went into cruise mode then, and just...
Celtic just look lost now, don't they, in the sense of, obviously, they've not won anything this season.
I draw comparisons to Liverpool a little bit. They sort of, I know we're not as off the field as, in dire straits like that, but they just look like they've been shell-shocked, a bit like we have this year. The injuries for us, and obviously City doing what they're doing, we look a bit taken off our feet, and they look the same to me.
There are certain teams this season who are just waiting for the season to end.
Yeah, 100%.
Celtic being one of them, Liverpool being another.
Next year it'll be so interesting to see how people react to the fans again, do you know what I mean? Because it's going to be like a new experience. I can't even remember fans being in, do you know what I mean?
I know.
Like what it was like, and obviously some teams I think are better without fans.
100%, yeah.
So Liverpool especially are weaker, much weaker without fans.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree, mate. On keeping on the footy note, talking about being without fans, the Man United was sort of with fans last week. Ends up going to Taggy's bar, the Hotel Tia, formerly known as by Anfield, sitting down watching the match, and then just on the way there in the taxi getting texts of fans on the pitch, and
killed me off because I had a bit of work to do, just like tying up loose ends. So I said to me missus, right, I'm going to do work, but my plan was to sit with the laptop and have the match on. Yeah. So buy myself 2.5 hours, and then I was just thinking, don't get postponed here, because that's me finished then. But yeah, it was crazy. I sort of agree with what they did in terms of revolting. Seeing people throwing people's cameras and that, I wasn't big on that, but I agree with what they did in essence, but it's just what effect it has, do you know what I mean?
That's what I think, mate. Listen, it's great, yeah, people making a protest and all that. I'm trying to make a point, but I just don't know how much they care when they're sitting thousands of miles away.
There's a bit of footage from one of them in America, and like there was reporters shouting at him. And
he's just walking past into his Aston Martin,
exactly,
driving off.
Patrick Bamford, we said a few weeks ago, he summed it up for me. Like, people only care when the pockets are affected.
Yeah.
So I think a better protest would be for all of us when the fans come back to stand your ground a bit and say we're not coming in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, vote with your pocket, basically. But that
I don't even think that though that harm. I might be wrong here, but I don't think that harms it financially as much. It's the merchandise. It's the subscription, things like that. They must make a couple of million going the game each
100%.
week. Like when they're bartering over, contracts and transfer fees, they probably just say a couple of million, just like that.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like the disconnect. Although it was a great show from the Man United fans to say, look, we're not standing up for it, I think it just highlighted the disconnect again, because it just because it shows you, like, look how passionate them people are who are writing. I know there's a couple of idiots in there, but there's a couple of idiots everywhere. Jamie Carragher said the same thing. Like, you go on a night out, there's always someone who messes up. So there's always going to be a couple of idiots, but the disconnect is shown again. It's because, look at the reaction. They haven't said anything. It's basically water off a duck's back. If you want to ruin the game, we'll just reschedule it. Do you know what I mean? No problem. It
has literally not done anything to them, has it?
No. And the only people affected is the one lad who's been now charged with whatever criminal offence it was. The stewards who ever got a couple of smacks. Who else is affected? Do you know what I mean?
The players a little bit in the sense of, they maybe get a little bit less rest and things like that. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not changed a lot. So yeah, I'm all up for protesting, all up for doing something when things aren't right, but what effect that's going to have in the bigger picture, I'm not sure.
I think sometimes with these people, you have to be more clever, don't you? You know, you like just showing brawn and being like, we're going to smash the place down and run on. You've got to show a bit more guile and be like, protest in different ways. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think it was for that one alone. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest club games in the world football, isn't it?
Even if it is, you know, I think they're going to finish second regardless, aren't they? Second or third. You know, we're still fighting, kind of, but it's not as big as it has been in recent years.
No. Well, historically, though, around the world, that is the game that everyone knows of, isn't it?
People still watch no matter what. Liverpool and Man United could be 13th and 14th, and it would still draw in a massive audience. It just always will.
I think if you had City and Chelsea going for the league, and Liverpool and United in the battle for relegation, people would watch the relegation battle.
I mean, it's like obviously the All-British final that's coming up with City and Chelsea. If that was Liverpool Man United, it would be such a bigger event, you know what I mean?
Mate, on that note, that's just the worst final ever.
I said last night, and I don't know how I said these words, but I did, I hope Chelsea win it. And that's bad, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Because there was a period in my life when I was younger, when I was like season ticket and stuff, when Chelsea was the arch enemy. Do you know what I mean? They were the arch enemy.
Those famous battles we had with them in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are saying that we hope they win.
I really hope they win as well. But like, just obviously giving City the credit, they were relentless, right, in that game.
They played brilliant, didn't they?
They showed me something. I'm sure they weren't trying to impress me, but they showed me something like that I've not seen before. The defending and stuff like that. They were. You know, I think
although I did see something, this is just me being bitter now, but I seen something about their running for the Champions League. I mean, I always take the piss in the FA Cup. They always seem to get an easy run. I think they played like Porto and someone like, I don't know, Mönchengladbach, someone. I'd have to get it up again. And then someone said then they played Dortmund without Sancho, they played PSG without Mbappe. And
sometimes the land just lies in the right way for you, doesn't it? And I think that, you know, you could see Mbappe on the bench, he was devastated, you could see it, but you know,
whether it would have changed the game or not, because like you say, City played so well.
But their big players didn't turn up, did they? Like, no. Di Maria looked for a way out, in my opinion, got off there. Neymar was...
They're so petulant, aren't they, that team?
It's like a load of rich kids getting beaten. And then
it's like they're so used to winning it week in, week out in their league. The second it doesn't go their way, they're just it's like throwing the toys out the pram.
Foden was the best player, though, on the pitch.
Unreal, isn't he?
I'm not sure I've seen anything like this before. And I really don't want to speak... Like, I don't want to jump on the hype train there and be like, you know, he's this, because people did that with Wilshere, didn't they? But the way he ran that game, for a 20-year-old kid. My
old running coach Tony Clark is training him on his running.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
And he's been doing it now for about a year or so, and people are even noticing, you know, when they're going knuckling down on all the stats on his runs that he's doing. He's becoming a complete player. He's obviously technically unbelievable, but his running, he's working with someone like Pep, who's just a tactician.
I think he ran that game more off the ball than he did on the ball. It's because they were so concerned about where he was that it then affected everybody else. I've never seen De Bruyne with that much space in my life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's usually pinpointing him, but because they were terrified of what he was going to do, he was then freeing up De Bruyne. But then when he got the ball, he was just as good with it. You know, I think there was a point where there was like 4 people around him, and he's just at ease with the ball.
And I love the fact that he supports Man City. He's kind of that, like, he's like Steven Gerrard, isn't he?
Literally is, yeah. And like, I think, you know, going forward, England have got to, if they've got any chance, they're going to have to build it around him, because he's the one. But you know, I just don't think I've seen someone with that much natural talent in a long time.
100%. I think as well, I'm working with Pep. I remember he turned down the England 21s, didn't he, to stay with Man City pre-season just to work under Pep. And I think that himself, it shows his maturity of where he wants to go in the game. It's not a case of I'll turn up and get a few England under 21 caps. Yeah, it's I'd rather spend 6 weeks working with Pep. Yeah, because he's going to make me a better player.
And I think he's, you know, I think the powers that be are going to be out for him a little bit in terms of the media and, you know, journalists and stuff like that. So if he can avoid all that stuff, because they'll be tracking his every move now.
We got caught up a little bit, didn't you?
With the England thing, but obviously when the world opens up a bit, and I'm sure he's going to go on Aldi and that, he won't be able to move. You know, as long as he's got the right people around him, you know, the media don't crucify him for, you know, crossing the road without pressing the light or something. Yeah. You know, he's got everything on his feet, but, you know, as bad as I don't want to say this, I hope he stays at City. I hope he becomes, you know, like a legendary player there, because seeing them stories just can't be beat. We've lived through one with Gerrard and Carragher.
Oh, mate, when you've got it, it's just amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing.
But in that same sentence, it's very painful as well.
Well, it's going to be horrible whenever they lift that European Cup. I'm going on a bender that weekend anyway, so I won't be around for it.
Chelsea shirt on.
Yeah, that's what it could be.
No way.
And talking about them two, mate, they play in the league this weekend.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a warm up for what that's going to be.
Yeah. Be a couple of.
Who do you think will win that?
In terms of the Champions League game?
The Champions League game, sorry. Yeah.
Don't know. You've got to back City. You've got to favour City, haven't you? Probably. But
I think Chelsea have got that, although the new manager's been there now a couple of months. I think they have still got that new manager bounce.
Yeah, they have, 100%.
And,
it's a one-off game, and it's about who deals with it the best. Who gets there without injuries? There's always an injury, isn't there, before the big final, or there's always someone who's like struggling.
Especially with the last few games getting... I'm not sure what the schedule's like for these teams out of the league, but when is the final? The end of May?
End of May, yeah. It's only in Istanbul,
2 or 3 weeks, isn't it, away? It's the same stadium that we went in?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Makes it worse, doesn't it?
Oh.
Well, I've seen someone today trying to say, I know this is not going to happen, but with British teams, maybe they could have brought it to the UK, do you know what I mean? So they could get some fans in.
Yeah.
Do you know, because I think at Wembley, you can get half or 10,000 or something like that.
Well, they're saying, aren't they, the last game of the season, you can have fans in.
Yeah, so, whether they do that.
Shout that, yeah.
But yeah, I think City, you got to make them favourites. Be interesting to see the prices, actually. I'm always interested in looking at the prices on one-off games like that, because sometimes they're priced up like a Premier League game, you know what I mean? In terms of, so you might be able to, I think City would have to be favourite, but...
I want to fancy Chelsea for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like the way the managers come in. I think they would have picked up a lot more points. I mean, they haven't dropped many, but I think they would have picked up more if the strikers were firing a bit more.
Yeah.
I think the lad up front for them hasn't done as well as would have hoped. And I think that's taken a little bit of the shine off, but I think that manager...
I know that Havertz played well, didn't he? And he's put a couple of good games together. So if they can get him playing well, and then obviously Werner, they got players like Kante and that who go under the radar, don't they? Oh, brilliant players. So, it's a finely balanced game, but yeah, it's still, don't know who we want to win, but yeah, I'd reckon you might get a bit of value on City, even though they might be favourites.
What else this weekend as well? In La Liga, be a great game. It's going to be my bet, which I'll mention later, but we've got Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. So at the minute, Atletico Madrid are on 76 points and Real Madrid and Barca are on 74. All played the same amount of games, and I think there's 3 games left.
Yeah.
So, this is massive. Whoever wins this, you'd probably think will go on and win the league.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are probably open for a draw, and that'll get them to sneak in. But I think that'd be a great game. That.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid will obviously be attention's turned to it a bit more because they lost last night. So, for them going without the Champions League or the league, dire straits, isn't it? But
yeah.
I hope Atletico do it, to be honest. I've always liked that sort of, because they're the two giants, aren't they, Real Madrid, Barca.
I think we just like it, don't we? Probably being Scousers from Liverpool, like the underdog mentality,
yeah, 100%.
And I think that's what they are.
I really like the manager as well, Simeone, because he doesn't really take much crap. He's he's knows what he does it well. Remember when they come to Anfield, at the start of the pandemic, I was gutted. I was there that night, but I was proper impressed with them. Yeah. The mentality of them.
You know what I hate about that game? Is if it had been suspended, we would have had Alisson back.
Yeah.
And Adrian fucked up in that game.
Yeah, he was one of them. They're a team that I've always sort of liked.
Yeah.
From afar.
Well, I went the away game, mate, and they were just so well drilled.
Yeah.
Tactical, bit of a masterclass from them, really. I think they won 1-0 over in their game, in their ground.
He's a bit of want of a better word, like a dog, isn't he, Simeone? He's just... Yeah. He'll always rile people up and
he's got that fight in him, hasn't he, where he reminds me a little bit of Klopp.
I'd love to play for him, wouldn't you? Because
it's like he transcends that passion into his players.
Yeah.
But he's so well... Atletico Madrid, not as defensively sound now, but they were.
Yeah.
You just knew you were never going to score against them.
Yeah.
I think they've obviously got that back a little bit this season because that's where they are in the league. Say 2 points clear.
Yeah. I mean, with Barca having Messi, it's the simplest sentence to say in the world, but they've always got a chance of anything, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, for me, I'd like to see Atletico do it. Just for that sort of 2 fingers up to the big teams, really.
Yeah. And I hope it's not a draw. I hope, because I do love Barca as well.
Yeah.
But I don't want Real Madrid to win it. So yeah, that's on this weekend. Mate, and in the Italian league, it's pretty much shown up at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
German league shown up at Bayern Munich. Even this weekend draws to a close, League 1, League 2 and the Championship. They're all pretty much shown up anyway.
Yeah. Just the playoffs, isn't it, really?
Playoffs, yeah. So I've got a soft spot for Forest Green.
Yeah.
At the moment, yeah, I got asked to do a motivational talk for them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
When they were non-league, just before their playoff, I'd done a talk for them for the semi-final. They got through, invited me to Wembley for the final.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I couldn't do it, so I sent them loads of posters and a video message and stuff. And they were sending me videos from the dressing room and stuff and all that. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for Forest Green. They're currently in the last thing for the playoff. But we had Chris Casper on, who is the sporting director for Salford City, obviously Gary Neville's team. And they are 2 spots outside it. They could get in if results go the way. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the final spot, Forest Green and Salford, because Salford were banging it for a while. And then they just lost, must have been about 5 or 6 games, and just fell out of it.
People don't appreciate how tough them leagues are down there. Obviously the quality is not the Premiership, that's obvious, but in terms of competitiveness, it's not, uncommon to see sort of a team flying in the playoffs to drop points to someone who's 18th.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's such a competitive, tough league. And
I think the pressure's on as well when you talk about the playoffs, especially when you get to the Championship, the money that's involved. I mean, the pressure that must be on these players.
It's livelihoods down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In terms of, like, you get promoted from League 2 to League 1, or maybe more highlighted League 1 Championship, your life can change in terms of, like, the money you're earning.
Yeah.
So it goes away from, like, obviously wanting to do it for legacy. It's more down to the fact that, your life is going to dramatically change. Yeah,
you've got those Roy the Rovers dreams still, but it gets to a point when you get a bit older, maybe you've got a missus and kids, and you think, fucking hell, if we can do this, but it's life changing. Like you say, it's a new house. It's
new house, yeah.
I listened to the Under the Kosh podcast, and Danny Mills was on it. Seems like a really likeable guy, to be fair. And he was saying when he was playing for Norwich, he was on something like, it's been like £200 a week or something, and within 18 months, just the way things happened, he was playing for Leeds on £8,000 a week.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
you're just like, how the fuck's it gone from...
I think as a kid, obviously I was involved in footy, but you don't realise until you're older, if you spend your whole career in League 2, the likelihood is you're probably going to have to go to work once you
really?
Finish. Unless you're a wise fella and you invest and do stuff like that. But in League 2, especially a few years ago, you're not earning enough money to quit and to live comfortably. Do you know what I mean? And the problem then comes, I'm sure we might talk about this in a different episode, but the problem then comes if you finish at 36 and you spent your whole life doing football, you got pretty much, the only other option is to go into coach. And coaching at the lower levels is not, you're not going to earn probably as much money as you did playing, so that then causes a predicament in itself. So yeah, it's sort of, people sort of see League 2 and think, these fellas might comfortable with money, but I would hazard a guess that 70-80% of them will probably have to go and work again once they stop.
I think we should maybe do an episode on that, because I think that brings into the whole other question of then your ego, and it must be mentally very tough to go from being this footy player, maybe star striker who for 10 years is banging 20 in a season in League 2, to now you're a postman.
Yeah, I think people do struggle with the identity
That's
thing.
not, by the way, not against being a postman.
No, but
it would be a hard thing to go from everyone adoring you to then...
It's the old question, isn't it? Like saying, sort of, you see someone in 4 years and he's like, I thought you were a footy player, or do you know what I mean? Or I thought you were... And then...
Well, we had Adam Morgan on, he said the same thing. It's like, what happened, lad? It's like, well, fucking...
Life happened.
Yeah.
But it's something I could speak about all day, but it's a real situation. That's why I always find the lower leagues very interesting in terms of...
Yeah. No, same, yeah. So I've got to like say, I'm going to be looking out for them this weekend. Norwich, Watford's already been promoted. The big one, I guess, where involves another Scouser was Rooney, obviously at Derby.
Oh yeah, trying to keep them up.
So he's got a game to go. I think at the moment they are out of the relegation zone at the minute.
Yeah, I think they play Sheffield Wed, don't they? Who were in.
So yeah, because it's going to be quite interesting how that turns out.
Obviously, I want Rooney to do well. Do you know what I mean? Never really bought him as a player because he played for Everton and Man United, but. Yeah, it's sort of one of them. You don't want to see him fail. And
no, I'd like to keep them up.
I quite respect players going into the Championship, like Gerrard, where he went to Scotland and stuff like that. No, Lampard, before he went to Chelsea, did the same with Derby, didn't he? And, going to earn the stripes and not sort of... I'm sure Wayne Rooney had offers to go, even be on the coaching staff of Man United or something.
Yeah.
But to go and sort of say, like, I was a Premiership player, but I'm not a Premiership manager. to have that, to be able to say, do you know what I mean, I'm going to go in my
Like you
stripes a
say,
bit.
it'd be so easy, I reckon, for him to just go, well, yeah, I'm Rooney. So
Yeah, give us one of them ambassador roles.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
could be.
And I sort of like to see players do that, because it shows that they've got the old sort of, I'll do it sort of thing.
It's that work ethic as well, isn't it?
Got them where he was as a player to go and do it again as a coach.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting Championship this weekend, and like say League One and League Two.
Some big teams in like Championship and League One these days.
Yeah,
I was looking at League One last night, like Portsmouth, Sunderland,
it's
big
mad,
established teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Bournemouth as well. Although they're not like, say maybe stadium, maybe 10 or 15,000 maybe, but I always think of Bournemouth of not like a great team, but just someone who.
Yeah, I mean, remember Swansea? They were on the edge of like the Champions League for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah,
and they're in the Championship now.
Really well under him, didn't he?
Yeah, I'd like to see someone come up who has not been up. Maybe the Brentfords of this world and that.
Yeah,
because sort of the recycled thing of Norwich up and Watford coming up, inevitably going to go back down.
It's just like yo-yo, isn't it?
I'd like to see, I always backed Bournemouth for what you said there in terms of being small stadium and stuff like that. I'd like to see Brentford or someone come up to sort of add something different to the Premier.
Yeah, I think most fans would like to see, in the Premier League fans as well, would like to see a team who haven't been in just so that they could go to their ground.
Yeah, it's a different way there, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's kind of my little look for the footy, mate. I think my big footy watch would be this weekend, would be the BARCA ATLETICO, like we just said. I think in the Prem, nothing really to write home about.
No, skip that.
It's shite, isn't it? Liverpool, Southampton. I think Liverpool have left it now too late for the Champions League.
Yeah, we just need to get to August. Do you know what I mean? Let's start.
I hope we actually get beat so we don't even end up in the Europa League. I'd rather finish 8th than bloody 7th.
Yeah, we just, like we've said it repeatedly now, we just need to stop. Get pre-season done, get a few players out, few players in, and then just go again.
Yeah, I agreed. Mate, boxing wise,
yeah, big weekend. Obviously, Liam Smith, Scouse lad Friday, over in Russia, fighting.
It's interesting with that. We touched on there. He's gone over without Gallagher.
Yeah.
Have they split? Have they? Or?
So I think he has split with him. Yeah, he went over to California to do like a bit of training out there, and I think he come back and now he's linked up with the lads in the Rotunda.
Yeah. Joe and Declan, boss lads.
Two really good coaches as well. Took Pricey for a couple of years. They also had Craig Glover.
They got April Hunter as well.
That's still Thomas Whitaker Hart as well.
Yeah.
Really good prospect. So, yeah, good to see him sort of going home a bit. I don't know what happened with Joe, or whether he just felt like he needed, something new. But yeah, going to Russia is a bit of a mad one. It's not somewhere that you're going to get any favours against an unbeaten.
Think he's going to need the knockout?
You hate to be pessimistic, don't you? But probably. I think I would look at the odds. I think he's 2-1 to go to win by knockout. And when you look at the to win by points. And when you look at the two fighters, Liam's a much better fighter than Kurbanov. Kurbanov's not fought anyone. Liam's been in with the best, and Liam's always very underrated because he doesn't look great. Do you know what I mean? But he's just very effective, very well rounded. And
he's like just a bit of an all-rounder as well. Like,
loves it as well.
I have stories about him, like fighting on the Saturday, then playing Sunday league.
I think he plays a decent
I think so,
standard as well. But he's and he's more. He loves fighting. Do you know what I mean? He's not like the elusive boxer. He just loves fighting. So I think going over to Russia suits him. But and I think he'll believe he can stop him. I think Liam's levels above. I think he should win, but if it goes to the cards, I'd be pretty nervous.
Yeah,
because it's the old Rocky going to Russia, isn't it?
Mate, I've read a book called The Russian Affair. It's called. Brilliant. It's about from the guy who wrote it was the same guy who.
Yeah, I've read it myself about the two athletes.
Yeah,
who did
basically undercover. Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, David Walsh.
That's it. He's the guy who done
Lance Armstrong.
In fact, you might have put me onto it.
Yeah,
it's been you on Twitter. Put me onto
Lance Armstrong book, which was brilliant. 7 Deadly Sins.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's a great book if you get a chance to read it, and it just talks about the corruption and the fucking doping that goes on in Russia.
Yeah, when she's
mad.
The stuff when she's recording in a pocket, and he's sort of saying, "Just do it," and you need it. Everyone's doing it. Just crazy, but lucky they got out really.
Yeah. It's a great book, and just so on that account, you wouldn't want to go into point of view of Liam Smith.
No.
Fingers crossed for him.
But obviously he's been inactive with the thing, so he's another person who needs his livelihood to keep going. So I'm sure he's getting paid well to go over there. I think I believe he should win. Believe he will win. But just sort of get the win, get out of there. Really, just carry on with your career then.
Yeah. Any other ones apart
And
from
the big one, obviously,
massive
Canelo
one?
Saunders. But other than that, sort of no one wants to clash with it, really. Because, all the eyes are going to be in Dallas this weekend.
Yeah.
Even the undercard, it's like, it's got a lower weight world title fight on. But then it's got loads of prospects then. There's a British lad on there called Kieran Conway. He's not quite a prospect, like a British level fighter. He's fighting a French guy called Sissoko.
What an opportunity that is
I know,
for him.
literally, innit? He come out of nowhere as well. He's a small all boxer. Got a draw with Ted Cheeseman. Got signed by Eddie. Eddie's given him a couple of fights. And now we got the call to go and fight Sissoko. Sissoko's another prospect, but I think Kieran Conway's 5-2 to fight, to win just outright, which I think's mad overpriced. Because, over there it's going to be neutral for them two, Frenchman and the British lad. I know Sissoko's got a bit of backing in terms of his management and stuff, but I wouldn't put, I'll probably have a go at Kieran Conway myself because, he's one of them fighters again. I think his record's got a draw on and one loss from early in his career, but he's a really good fighter, do you know what I mean? And these will be thinking, British cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But he's
5-2's decent price.
Just outright as well. So, for anyone's money, I wouldn't put them off that at all. But then obviously, the big one, Canelo Saunders.
Proper excited for this, like.
Fury's flew in, hasn't he?
Yeah. Have you been watching Fury's Instagram?
He's mad, isn't he?
He just calls Eddie in like a wanker all the time.
He done that, and then there was a clip come out late last night, watching it this morning. He lands in the hotel. He's like, Eddie! And like clapping hands, and he's going, oh, see, you got the fight done and stuff like that. Like hugging.
Really? I'm not seeing this.
Eddie's got a podcast called No Passion, No Point on BBC.
Yeah. And
his 3 guests this week, Canelo, Saunders and Fury. Him and Fury talking about the fight.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And Fury saying, I'll tell you the punch I'm going to beat AJ with. Check left hook. And Eddie saying he'll knock you out in 9 rounds and stuff. Sat like me and you are.
No way.
Yeah. I'll send you the link.
So it's really all good. Just like a bit of back and forth then, you think?
Fury's a master salesman, mate. Master salesman. He knows what he needs to do. He needs to wind AJ up, needs AJ to come out like a lunatic. And just
I thought it was brilliant where he's going, Eddie in. I was obviously being back in Canelo all week. And he's just coming out going, fucking hell, get out of this fucking ass.
Yeah. The thing with Fury is he just says it how it is, like no matter what. But he's obviously Billy Joe's his long-time friend, and he's flew in to support him, so he'll cause murder over there, Fury. Like,
do you remember that time when Billy Joe went and put like fucking 50 grand on Fury to win or something like that?
The nuts, the pair of them. I think there's another wager thing. They see Eubank put 10 grand on. Billy Joe was giving Eubank a bit of shit just because he was bored, I think. And Eubank's put 10 grand on Canelo to win by knockout. And he's posting it online, so everyone's just betting. But
that's fucking brilliant, that.
I think Fury and Billy Joe Saunders in a hotel. It's going to be chaos, that. But Canelo's.
I think it'll be good with Eddie and being a businessman like we all know. It might be a chance of getting, I don't know, Fury in the ring afterwards and announcing the fight.
I think that's what he's got, but could have got AJ to fly in. Do you know what I mean? But I think for Eddie's brilliant at, like, I don't know him personally, but he's brilliant at taking away emotion. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's giving him shit saying, you're all for Canelo, and he was like, I'm not. I'll promote the both of them, but he'll go over there, and even though he'll probably get the fucking shit ripped out of him by Fury and Billy Joe, in his mind he'd be thinking, this is selling both my fights. You're selling this fight and you're selling me fight with AJ. Do you know what I mean? You keep ripping me. Yeah. No problem.
Oh yeah, he won't be asked getting called anything. If
brilliant,
he's
and
bringing in that money.
That's after he's, and most people don't dislike him because he's so ahead of the game.
I think the people who dislike him though still respect him and like fair play. Like I think other
promoters think they can't keep up because Eddie's got the kids like as his fans. Older fellas who've been starved of boxing for years have now got it, slap bang in the face every week. So he's got a bit of everyone, and he's constantly on social media.
I like him, mate. I think
he's one of the people in my life I'd love to sit and have a chat with him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
100%. For the actual fight then, you just think Canelo's going to destroy him?
Yeah, well, we've had this thing, haven't we, with the ring. So
I don't wonder, as someone who's far more intelligent in boxing, who would it benefit? Who would it
So
not
Billy
benefit?
Joe wants a 22 by 22 foot ring. So obviously he's a back foot boxer. He basically wants to stay out the way and box on the outside. So the bigger sort of area he's got to run with, the better. Canelo wants it smaller because he's coming forwards. So the quicker he can get Billy Joe to them ropes, the better. But I think Canelo said, take as big a ring as you want. I'm going to knock you out anyway. Which is a bit of a statement, really.
Was that what he said? Yes, would he give him the bigger ring?
Said, take it, no problem. Canelo, mate, he got busted for drugs, didn't he? And, you know, he said it was tainted meat and stuff like that.
Mexican beef.
That doesn't sit right with me. So I've always had a bit of a thing with him. Like, I respect him as a boxer. I love watching him, but bit of a cheat. Bit of a cheat, yeah. But sort of things like that is like a throwback to back in the day. Do you know, all the great fighters that come up, like the Four Kings and stuff like that, where he's like, take what you want. Do you know what I mean? I'm coming to take it out anyway. And, you know, he's dealt with a lot in his career. He come out the other week, and the week he fought Rocky Fielding, someone kidnapped his brother on fight week and held him to ransom, so Canelo had to pay. And he dealt with that fight week. I'll send you the article, yeah. He had to deal with that fight week.
Some Mexican drug lords or something?
Yeah, took his brother. Give some dough. But, yeah, so he had to deal with that all fight week. And obviously Rocky was a couple of levels below, which is no slight. Got stopped, but imagine dealing with that, do you know what I mean? And then people... So this, what he's getting done, obviously, with Billy Joe giving him loads, changing the ring. Fury, I imagine, is going to give him loads. Water off a duck's back, really. Do you know what I mean? He's a strong-willed man. But, yeah, I just think the fight, like, it's amazing. It's going to be a great fight. But Khan fought Canelo a couple of years ago, and he was up halfway, well, probably level or just up at the halfway stage. And Canelo got to him.
And then got absolutely bingoed, though. That knockout, I still see it now.
And I believe the fight will play out pretty similar in terms of...
I think he's going to get KO'd, yeah?
Yeah, I think halfway down in the fight, we'll all be on Twitter saying, he'll fucking do this, do you know what I mean? He can win this, but I think Canelo's too methodical, too good, too strong. And I just don't think Billy Joe's got the punch to get his respect or the chin to stand up. He's been shook a couple of times. He's a middleweight, really, so £160, fighting at 168 now because he's a two-weight world champion, but he doesn't belong at 168. And that £8 doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, do you know what I mean? And you'd probably argue Canelo's not a real super middleweight, but he's much more suited than Billy Joe is. I just think he'll just get to him.
I hope Billy Joe wins.
But if he won, mate, the rematch would be huge.
I'd love to see him fight Callum Smith as well, Billy Joe.
Yeah. I think that's a fight I'd love to see, but in Britain. But obviously I think Callum's going to go up.
Yeah.
To 175 light heavyweight, which he needs to. But yeah, that would have a fight that would have been brilliant. But like, talking of like just going on to Callum, the light heavyweight division now is probably the best in the world, really. Canelo's even took a little step in there as well. But some of the fighters, especially in Britain, so if Callum then jumps in, just going to be that's one of them divisions that we're all
it is. Boxing does seem over the summer, I think, with the Tyson Fury and Joshua fight brewing. I think boxing's just so exciting at the minute, isn't it?
Boxing has its little ups and downs. So it's sort of like, I know it's a big week when random people text me about it, say like, what do you think, like, or what's the bet, or whatever. People who I don't speak to very often.
Yeah.
So that's when you know it's big, you know. But it's just, I think Eddie going with the zone in a couple of months' time is going to make it even bigger. He's essentially trying to create the UFC in boxing in terms of one main promotion,
which is great.
One champion.
What needs to happen, yeah.
And I think boxing's it's in a great position, mate. I think it just needs to keep growing now.
What are you going for then, mate, for your...
So my bet is, obviously, I think Kieran Conway 5-2. You know, I wouldn't put anyone off that in terms of, because it's value, whether he wins or not, it's 50-50, but it's value. Definitely the bookies have got it wrong. But my actual bet will be Canelo between rounds 7 and 12. So second half of the fight, 2-1. As I say, I think Billy Joe might be up halfway stage, or definitely in the fight. But, you know, down the stretch, championship rounds, 8, 9, 10, then Canelo will get to him, maybe stop him. Body shot, or, you know, just accumulation.
Okay, my bet is I'm going to go for Luis Suarez to score any time. He hasn't scored in 6 weeks, I've just checked. What a way to start scoring again.
Ancient old employees.
You know, I don't think he wanted to leave. Obviously, ends up at Atletico. What a move that would be, by the way. He left Liverpool in the first season. He went to Barca, he's done the treble. You know, he's left Barca, his first season away, he wins the league. You know, potentially.
I think with Suarez, mate, he's one of them, isn't he? Like, you love him if he plays for you, hate him if he plays against you.
He's 2-1 to score any time, and I just think, you know, decent bet. You'd always fancy him when he's on the pitch. He hasn't scored in a few weeks. Big important game. I think he's a big game player.
Like that.
So just under 220 is to score any time. That's my bet.
Yeah, like that. I think he's always a big game player, isn't he? He's always going to be on the... I'm sure he'd be snatching any penalties, free kicks, throw-ins.
Any fucking best score, because I don't want to be losing any more bets, lad.
Yeah, so we start from scratch again now, yeah?
So I'm starting from scratch. This is week 1.
Yeah.
So if anyone has got any forfeits, let us know, because I've not really enjoyed wearing this, to be honest.
Let's get rid of that.
When people text me, what the fuck were you wearing there? But no, nice one again, Jamie. Anything else you want to touch on, mate?
No, I think obviously just a massive week, selfishly for boxing. Really can't wait. I think it's going to be, one of them fights that draws eyes that people don't really watch boxing. So, that's always good. Yeah, another big week of sport.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it, mate. And thank you again for your tips the last few weeks. I might have to wear an Evans top, but I have enjoyed winning a couple of quid, so nice one. Big shout out again to the Social Scousers who've helped us with our media stuff we've got going on. Also should plug the kind of live event we're doing on the 4th of June. It's going to be with John May, the actor comedian behind Corona Mums. We've got Rob Pope, the Scouse Forrest Gump, who's ran 15,000 miles across America. We got them two sitting down in the beer cellar on Friday the 4th of June. Tickets are 15 quid. They're on sale today on the Eventbrite. We put the link in the bio. Hope you've enjoyed. Nice one.